So this is the scene. We're at one of my favorite little parks by my house. I do like to come here and ground and meditate, and it's been a few days since I've done so because I've been in the swing of things. Things have been busy every day. Oh, she's freaking out. Chill, girl. There we go. Sometimes I think I need to update the Osmo because sometimes it just starts shaking and gets really antsy and stuff. So I had to make sure it's good. But it's been a busy time. We all know we're all navigating really busy schedules, getting pulled in all different directions, having family stuff, having work stuff, money stuff, whatever it is. We're all just like working through these different cycles in our lives. Today I kind of want to talk about mourning the loss of a friendship or relationship, and it's not just romantically. This can be with even family members. So what I want to get into is like, we develop these friendships over the course of our life, and some people stay, some people go. Some people you have the beautiful balance with where like whenever you meet with them, it's just like it picks up right where it was. You feel like, nothing's changed. That person doesn't make you feel bad about, being out of contact. It's just like when you meet, it's a vibe. You just really appreciate the time together and really can enjoy it. And then you might disappear for a few months. You might both get busy in your careers or families, whatever it is. But it's like whenever you do make that time for each other, it does just drop into like, man, this is a lifetime friendship. And then we get friendships or relationships where you get really used to contacting a person every day and being in constant communication, sometimes even overly communicating. And I think with that, there's a little bit of like unhealthy attachment in the beginning because you're starting to really just like understand different concepts that you build in your head. So like in my head, if I'm thinking, oh, my friend is texting me every day and I like when he does that, and he's just like, he's someone always around if I need anything, or like he's just there, he's present. And that might happen for a few months, things might be good, and then it might just completely crash down. And that can be due to different things, like just life changes, a difference in the dynamic of the relationship, whatever it is, it's just like moves into a cycle of nothing. So that's what I'm really understanding that I want to talk about today is like, when we have these friendships that we think are going to be lifelong ones and they don't turn out to be that way, and then you also like start to take the rose-colored glasses off and you start to see things from a more bird's eye view. Also, like, there's not this illusion of something you've built up in your head about this person. So everything's just very clear. And when you meet with that person, so say you're meeting after a few weeks, a few months of like kind of not really talking, and now y'all are meeting, like things don't feel the same. It feels like a difference. Like not that you don't know the person, but it's just like not what you're used to. And I feel like I've been able to get more discerning and look outside the bird's eye view and really see people for who they are, and it doesn't make them bad, but it's like I see you for being who you are and standing in your truth and your power or whatever. But also at the same time, I have to recognize that like maybe we're just not vibing anymore, and like that can happen. That can even happen in family relationships, and I'm kind of working through this right now with my own family member where like we were always so close and like in constant communication. Wow, it's such a mirrored thing now that I'm talking about it, because that's what happens to me whenever I have something happening in like a business sense, then like in personally I have something mirrored the same way. So like now that I'm talking about this with the friendship. Now I'm thinking about it with my family relationship, and I'm working through the same exact thing, that a cycle of like where I was close with someone and we were talking all the time, one of my family members, and then we go to nothing. And then actually I don't really quite like how I feel when I'm around that person. And I'm being more discerning of where my energy goes. So like I have to remove myself, and I have to also understand that like that person is working through a different cycle in their lives, and it's just we're not in the same place. But we can totally like grieve that that relationship, because the thing is, we really get close with people and we really start to get almost dependent on them. And when you go from that to nothing, that's just like, you do get hit with like waves of grief of just like, man, I miss talking to that person, or I miss like knowing what's up in their lives and being there and like holding space for each other. And this is just part of the cycle of life, that everything is going to evolve. So your relationships are going to evolve. Like maybe you're not close to that family member anymore, but maybe you have openings with the other family members. And it just opens up a real feeling of like, we are not meant to probably keep the same type of relationships. We're always supposed to evolve and get better, and really see our strengths, our weaknesses, where we need to step up, where we need to be better. These relationships teach us so much more about other people and what they're working through, but also just about ourselves. And like understanding, like me with this family member is like, you know what, I'm gonna be actually more discerning how much I'm around this person. And when they're being a certain type of way and I'm not vibing with it, I'm having to learn, what can I control? Like I can control that I'm not taking it in. It's annoying, it's annoying to be around and stuff, but like we can't control other people. We can't make them be a way we want them to be. People have to want to willingly grow within themselves. And, it might come time for a conversation where I have to catalyze this family member into her next level of growth. And it's very uncomfortable, because you have to be the one to point things out of like, hey, I'm noticing you're doing this. Or it's like, it's becoming a trend that it's like this. We're all feeling like this. Like, I remember the first time I had to do that with a family member, and it was so hard to point out that like that person's energy was messed up and they needed to get it in check. Like that's all it was. And it turned into like whole defensive mode, but it sparked that person getting more aware about it. So like, I don't know if it's just time now in the evolution of our relationship that I have to call it out again, and I have to be like, hey, like, let's keep each other in check. Like, tell me when I'm doing wrong. I know when I'm like in my moods and I just don't want to be around anyone and stuff, but at the same time, there's like a level of respect that you have to have too. So all these different evolutions in our relationships, but the main message of today is that grieving is not a bad thing. If you have to move through the emotions. Like me this weekend, I've just been feeling it the last like day or so, just like things coming up, me feeling like reflecting on relationships and friendships, and like seeing how things are and where I am now and stuff, and like then coming to a place of, how do I want to move forward with it? Like, how do I want my relationships to be? How do I want my business friendships to be? How do I want my relationship with the people, my team that works for me? How do I want to evolve and get better the next 6 months? Because we're at a point where like I'm reassessing is really in line with all these retrogrades were happening with the planet. So this is just a time to reflect and look back on like how we can be better people, how we can better serve, or how we can be better family members, how we can be better partners and relationships, be better bosses. Like we need to keep evolving and changing and getting better, because if we don't, things will continue to progress and like we'll be caught behind. So that's why I really wanted to create this video, is like, know that it's okay to move through your emotions, move through the waves of like feeling the grief and feeling alone, but always come back to gratitude. And like for me, I'm coming out here in nature today and putting my feet, literally my feet are in this water right now, right there. So putting my feet in the earth and really feeling connected and feeling like, okay, you know what, you're good, you're grounded, you're here. Get back to that and what being present. And then you start to feel those worries, those hesitations, those anxieties, those anxious feelings of like, I don't have this or I want this. Once you get present and once you get connected, you realize you don't need to search outside of yourself for that. It's all within you. It's all here. We're all connected. But the more we're looking externally for other people to fulfill these roles for us, you know, the more like disappointed we'll be, because people have to show up for themselves, and most of the time they're not even doing that. So what can we expect of other people if we are not holding that energy and that frequency ourselves? What can we expect of other people to be able to hold space for us when they don't even take time for themselves, when they're running around doing everything for everyone else and getting burnt out and then lashing out at everyone instead of being actually present in the moments and understanding we're all moving through big changes, big life cycles changing, and we're just doing the best we can. And so when these moments of grief come, don't try to bypass it. Don't try to say like, oh man, I'm better off without that person, and like try to like talk yourself that way, because you want to be able to like feel the emotion, let it sit through, react to it the way you need to, but then also learn to release it. Be like, you know what, I'm better served without this, and I'm actually okay. I don't really need that person in my life, and I can choose to send that person love and keep my love for myself, and then also like, you know, have gratitude for the relationship that was, because that served its purpose. That relationship, that friendship, that, you know, business contract, whatever it was, it served its purpose by being there in your life for as long as it did. And we can just learn to zoom out and, you know, take a bird's eye view and look at it and be like, you know what, that was a relationship I learned a lot about myself in. I learned about boundaries. I learned about standing up for myself. I learned about speaking. Wow, this is so close. Sorry. I learned about speaking my truth. I learned about listening, being a better listener, and trying to communicate what I needed. And these are all big life things that I've been working through. So really I can send love and like appreciate that relationship for what it was, instead of looking at it like, man, should I reach back out to the person, that kind of stuff. Like, just let it be. You know, if we're meant to be in each other's lives, there will be reunions, there will be people coming back together after so long, and it will be beautiful. We just got to recognize that, like, we have the ability to create really beautiful lives for ourselves. But if we're always stuck in the past and not having and in that lack state, how much more can you grow? You can't grow from lack. You got to be happy with what you got. And for me, when I started reflecting on that family relationship and how one family member is just not feeling connected as much with me anymore, but like look at the other relationships that I have with my family members and see that I have a lot of beautiful things to be happy about. So that is my message today in this video. I hope you took away something from it. I hope you learned that it's okay to grieve these friendships and relationships but that in order to start attracting better and more aligned people that are on your same frequency and can hold that, we have to be okay with, like, you know, having so much gratitude for our previous relationships, but also knowing that, like, we're not going to sacrifice our own frequency and our own boundaries just to keep people in our lives, because that's not healthy either. So it's just all about finding balance and growing, and I hope you learned something from this video. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.